Chess, a strategic game with 32 pieces, 16 black and 16 white. They come in 6 types: king, queen, bishop, rook, pawn, and knight. In chess, the king must be protected at all costs. One wrong move and you may find the game is lost. The king moves one square, anywhere, at any time, and he captures whatever piece he entwines. The queen moves diagonally and straight, back and forth, left or right. When the path is clear, she captures pieces. It's quite a sight. She's powerful and versatile, step by step with giant leaps. So be sure to protect her very carefully.
The bishop moves diagonally.
Diagonally.
It captures the first piece it sees.
First piece it sees.
Forward or backward at an angle it goes. Woo. As it tries to capture a foe.
Come on.
The rook moves in straight lines and captures any piece it finds. It goes forward, backward, left or right.
Left or right.
As many spaces as it wants to find.
On their first move, only pawns have a special rule. They can move 1 or 2 squares forward, sometimes a useful tool. Then the pawn moves forward 1 square at a time, but only attacks diagonally, a chess player's paradigm. The knight moves just like an L. Where it lands, that piece is captured in its spell. It goes 2 steps, right, left, front, or back, then 1 step to the side of that. Or it can go 1 space, followed by 2 more to its landing place.
Chess is the best.
It's the best.
Way to test your mental prowess. It's no more and no less.
No less.
And a chance to see a strategy manifest.
Okay.
It's not a game.
Come on.
It's a quest.
It's a quest. Yeah. Let's go. The knight is the only piece that can jump over another, except in one special situation we'll discover. Because the king and the rook sometimes get a chance to partake in castling, a specific dance. A 2-part move called castling takes the king out of the center to protect the king and also bring the rooks closer together. Castling can't be employed if the king is in check or if the king or rook have moved prior to this step. There is one more rule that the player must embrace. The chess pieces between the king and rook can no longer be in place. So the castle, the king can move 2 spaces to the left or right while either rook jumps over to the king's opposite side. The game's on 64 squares, mark A to H and 1 to 8. 2 players try to capture each other's king and seal their fate. It's called check when a king in danger must move to escape. When it can't get away, it ends the game as the winner calls checkmate. Chess
is the best.
It's the best.
Way to test your mental prowess. Woo. It's no more and no less.
No less.
And a chance to see a strategy manifest.
Okay.
It's not a game.
It's not a game.
It's a quest.
It's a quest. Come on. Chess. Now I be in the wrong if before I end the song I didn't go on a little more about the pawn. There's 1 king, 1 queen, and the rest have 2 pieces each. Except for pawns, there are 8 who guard their army from a breach. Pawns only move diagonal, capturing a piece of the enemy. Otherwise they can only move straight forward toward the other army. And finally any pawn can be traded for his captured queen by getting to the enemy side of the board where she's redeemed. One more thing we should recall to get this quite right. A pawn can be promoted to a rook, bishop, or knight. So we can choose another piece other than the queen by making it across the board as we've now seen. Chess is the best.
Way to test your mental prowess.
Prowess.
No more,
No more.
and no less.
No less.
And a chance to see a strategy manifest. It's not a game.
It's not a game.
It's a quest.
It's a quest. Yeah. Come on.
It's a quest.
Hello, I'm John Coleman from ApocatastasisInstitute for the Humanities and Alternative College and High School here on New Milford, Connecticut, USA. The purpose of this broadcast is to get into episode 250. Let's see what we have queued up here. 58. Wow, 258. We see on the bubble, Chess is Life, a conversation with Dr. Shawn. And before we get to know Dr. Shawn Eldit, we're going to not escape the one advertisement for Apocatastasis, and we'll keep it short and simple. It is now the guts of November when we're recording this, which means as a good teachers, we're thinking about the next semester at this hour. And I encourage you to check out our website with all of our ongoing events, and especially to check out on the drop-down. You'll see at the top, academics, the enrollment and matriculation tab, the happiest tab on all of the websites. So there we go. We have the new semester coming up, and we want those classes filled out. And down below, we have Dr. Shawn's website here, and we're going to be enjoying this and himself in the time ahead. I was telling him before we were recording that Dr. Shawn made my class and my show prep very easy, because these are great talking points on the website, why we should play chess. And so we shall learn about all of this. But first things first, Dr. Shawn, welcome. And where are you sitting on right now? What town are you coming in from?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Shawn, and I'm located in New York, Forest Hills, Queens. And I'm happy to answer all the questions and make chess very fun for everyone.
Excellent. And how far is Forest Hills from Elmhurst? I know when we did the pre-show chit chat, we might have brought this up. How far is Forest Hills from Elmhurst there? My old stomping grounds.
Well, Elmhurst, I would say a 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
It's not so far. It's also in Queens. It's very close.
Excellent. And you got the accent there, which is delightful. So.
From New York, huh?
That's it. All right. So we have your website, and the audience will definitely check this out. There are many social media tabs up here. All right, Shawn, tell us a bit about yourself just early on with chess in general. Just what was your attraction and even your introduction to the game? And we'll go from there.
So I learned the game of chess when I was 9 years old from a childhood friend's father. I was bored one day. He showed me how the pieces moved. Obviously, I wasn't any good, but with practice and the love of the game, I became the player I am today.
And had you any experience with checkers beforehand, or similar games, or Chinese checkers for that matter?
I would say checkers, and then chess consumed my life. I would say checkers was most likely the stomping ground. It quickly shifted.
What was the attraction to chess that so consumed your life early on? What did you find as a child to be so intriguing about this game, opposed to checkers or opposed to Nintendo for that matter?
One was chess is very popular, so it was a lot easier to find players as opposed to checkers. After one move, there's so many permutations. There's a lot of theory and knowledge, and I was with spirit very competitive, and I knew chess would allow me to do so.
Excellent. And did this hobby continue through your adolescence into adulthood, or did you drop off for a while and then come back later in life, Shawn?
No, I had the same passion since I was a child until today. And every day I'm evolving, becoming a better person due to chess.
And I look forward to getting into some of those meditations there. How can chess improve our different skills in other ways? Now, beyond your friends, you said it was your grandpa, your friend's grandpa, who introduced you?
It was my childhood friend's father.
Ah, yes.
He's the one who showed me how the pieces move, and I took it from there.
And once that introduction was digested by yourself, as a child, did you start taking classes yourself, or did you go to the parks? I recall, especially in Manhattan, seeing some of these parks, Union Square, for instance, where they have the chessboards outside and all. How did you develop beyond your initial introduction?
Well, once I started becoming very intrigued into chess, I found anywhere possible where I can play. So since I was located in Queens, as a child, I didn't go to Manhattan to, Union Square, Washington Square Park. So I found on either in the newspaper or online, they have tournaments every weekend. It was chess in the schools where they offer free tournaments throughout the tri-state, or the Right Move, which had many tournaments in Brooklyn College. So once I started learning how to play chess to get better, I, dabbled into competitive play.
And we have on your site here, Shawn, Dr. Shawn, chessworld.com, which, by the way, for the audience, is down below in the description. So, Dr. Shawn, so are you a doctor in the sense of, Colonel Sanders is a colonel, or what is your background with that in terms of training with education and so forth?
Well, I have a PhD in higher education administration. So I do have a doctorate degree in education. And I thought when I created the name, it would be super catchy. So not only I have a PhD, a doctorate, but I'm also a chess player.
Excellent. We'll have to lasso you down the line for a chit chat about the college world and pedagogy and so forth. But that remains for another day. But a very interesting training that you have with that. Now, Shawn, how did you come to create, Dr. Shawn's Chess World, not just the website, but to decide to go into this as a vocation to teach students and so forth? What stage along the line was this? Something in your early adulthood that you decided, or is it more recent to teach classes formally?
Well, I always had a talent for teaching. So when I was in high school, my background is in mathematics. I was always teaching math. And then when one day a parent said to me, Shawn, besides math, do you teach anything else? And then I replied, I'm a competitive chess player. She's like, you must teach my son. You must teach my daughter. After that day, I found my calling, always being a teacher and my passion and love for chess.
As I pour my coffee here, very delicately, what does competitive chess and this world and competitions, what does that look like, and how did you first get into that? Move beyond the initial introduction and then some follow-ups. How did you get into competitive chess, and what does that, for those of us unfamiliar, what does that look like, such a competition?
Well, it's a beautiful experience. It's very fun for a child. You win trophies, prizes. You could obtain school recognition, that you're representing a school, a friendship. So by playing competitively, you meet people from all walks of life. And obviously, when you're a child, you're nervous, and you don't want to have a bad result.
Mm.
But these are all life lessons, all through competitive play, that you don't necessarily learn in a school setting. Sportsmanship, etiquette, shaking someone's hand, good game, whether or not you lost a game or won a game. Um, you know, and I made many friends because I was one of the few players representing Queens, and all the competitive chess players apparently came out of Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Mm. Interesting observation there. That's great. And yeah, I think that's one of the great geniuses of sport. And we would, and play in the case of, board games like this, is that it can put you into contact with people you wouldn't have otherwise. And nowadays with different things on social media and things, we get cubbyholed into people that are just like us. But I think there is that randomness to sport and to play to competition, coming across very different people in chess competitions, for instance, you would never have come across, or from other boroughs and whatnot. So excellent observation there. And Shawn, as we move up to your very, very well laid out website and this kind of rundown that we're going to use, for people who are interested in studying with you and having formal lessons with yourself, how would they go about that?
Well, they can go a few ways, but the best way would be through my website, drshawnchessworld.com. You could click the book now icon, or I have an email down below, and email me anytime if anyone has any interest in learning chess or taking their game to the next level.
Excellent. We see that little button right here. Okay, and I can also say Dr. Shawn is also on Facebook, which is how we came across on the different forums and whatnot there. So, all right. Now, I know before we started going here, Shawn, I had brought this up, but if you'd be able to briefly recap, I'm just going to go from left to right, and we'll enjoy our time together as the clock allows. We'll make our way through the different talking points here and go back and forth. But if you could recap, Shawn, how is it that chess develops our ability to think rationally?
Very good question. I would say um when one's not a how do I say, that's a
Mm,
easy but yet difficult question. Develops the ability to think rationally. I would say a lot of it when you play chess, it forces one to think outside the box and take you out of your comfort zone. It's very hard to explain. So let's say, for example, when you go to school and you learn something, you're not really taught to think so much outside the box. But when you play chess and there's so many permutations and there's so many possibilities, not all the time there's a right answer. So that would, I would say, help the mind to think rationally.
I heard yesterday, as of this recording, an interview with a teacher, a doctorate of mathematics. You had mentioned that's your background as well. Dr. Eugenia Chang from, I believe, the University of Chicago, or
Hmm.
one of the Illinois universities, and she does the rounds. She was on PBS yesterday, and I've seen her on Stephen Colbert and things. But to our focus here on chess, and I'm just interested with the mathematics. She had mentioned how mathematics encourages one to think outside of the box as well. And while, Dumbos like myself might think that, 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 is the same, she was actually getting into that those are philosophically two very different things. And she was, trying to lay out a visual of how that could be, how those could be two very different things. Although, in the workaday, we say, hey, it's the same answer at the end of the day. But perspective in mathematics, and I know with certain other guests and teachers we have here at the Institute with math, that's something I, with my humanities background, have come to appreciate is, the vitality of mathematics. And I would think that chess has the same, it seems very staid and, very static. Even we see all these chessboards here, and yet just like math, it seems very very cut and dry. And yet I would think that chess gives us this other perspective. You mentioned even at the beginning of a chess game, the nearly infinite possibilities of moves. So I could definitely see how the game can stretch your mind to help you think in this more rational way, and in a way you wouldn't get in a typical school classroom or whatnot.
Yeah, chess is math, and chess is also a science.
Mm.
So a lot of people refer to, oh, if I'm my students, Shawn, if I'm good at chess, I mean, if I'm good at math, does that mean I'm going to be good in chess? I always say yes. Don't worry, because math is chess. So if you're good at math, you'll be good in chess. It's deeper than that, but I try to make a joke on that.
Well, I'll put you on the spot here. I'm sure someone has. I mean, statistically, there can't be infinite chess moves. There must. I think I've come across this somewhere or other that someone actually sat down with pencil and paper and mathematically, how many potential games could you get out of chess given the number of moves and pieces, and it was
Yes.
something crazy. Have you ever come across that?
It's a number so astronomical that I try not to focus too much, John, on that number.
Of course, of course. Might as well be infinite. You and I'd be
Yes,
dead 10 times over before we'd get through all the scenarios.
yes.
But building off of that, so chess, Shawn, develops our ability to think rationally. And uh, how about IQ levels? You had mentioned that there are certain studies. I won't put you on the spot for what those studies are, but there have been studies on this with chess and board games, you say?
Yeah. So I did a Google search. Does chess increase one's IQ? And
Mm,
there's many studies that show, especially in children, when the ones that a lot of case studies, ones that play chess as opposed to those that do not, have higher academic scores. They achieve 30%, 25%, upwards to 50% higher in math and ELA, arithmetic, comprehension. So it was a beautiful study that I found. A few studies actually. The state exams, the scores are higher. So I think everything is contributed to. Obviously, when you play chess, you're forced to think. It's impossible to play a chess game without using your mind.
mm.
So the constant use of your mind, and obviously critical thinking, and you apply it to not only academics of the real world, it improves all around cognitive thinking.
And Shawn, just to waylay from the images here, keeping a finger on schools as you do with your training and so forth, your professional training with administration. What is the state of grade school and college chess clubs? I have my own hobbies like Civil War reenacting, and some years and some decades the hobby is bigger than it is at other times. With your finger on the pulse of things, what's the state of chess clubs and so forth in schools right now? Are they growing? Are they staying static? Are they shrinking?
I would say they're growing, but not exponentially. So a lot of it is due to, social media, YouTubers, influencers, to put more spotlight on the game of chess. But I feel a lot of the politicians should get involved in allocating their money towards something important for the youth, for the children. There's a lot of programs that, in my opinion, aren't beneficial, and they should definitely allow chess to be a part of, if not curriculum, definitely a part of their after school. So I would say over the years, a lot of schools implemented, but on a very slow rate. I think it should be across the board.
Yes, yes. And we see here that chess builds self-confidence. And before I recap this for you, I can tell you that when I was a boy, I was given for one Christmas a very nice chess set that someone spent a lot of time on with, in fact, the moves. It was an introductory thing. And it had the moves actually written on the pieces that were facing the player, if you had a rook or a knight or whatever the case may be. And even still, I was quite taken by checkers in my childhood, but I did not pursue I did not pursue my self-confidence there. I should have. I later on in life learned a bit about chess. But how does, for people who are a bit more brave than and for children who are more brave than I was, how does chess build our self-confidence if we stick with it?
I would say so. Build self-confidence when you play the game of chess. Well, you have to be confident in anything you do in life, and it's chess is so competitive. So just the innate ability of confidence, I would say, it's just an automatic feature in you. And if you don't have it, what's a beautiful thing is when you go to the tournaments and you start meeting different types of people, you meet friends. Oh, good luck in your next game. Oh, you made a blunder, but you'll get them next time. So there's a lot of positivity in the chess community, win or lose. So I would say a mixture of believing in yourself, and if not, positive influences around. So even, let's say, when I was a child and I won a game and I would see the sorrow in my opponent's eyes, because that's just normal. No one likes to lose, especially in life. Oh, don't worry, we can review it. You'll get them. You'll do better next time. You made a small mistake. The best. Every great player makes mistakes, which you have to learn from. So I would say a mixture of that builds your confidence. Chess is a big confidence booster.
Yes, absolutely. And I could see that, especially I could see also, something like chess being a great stepping stone to other hobbies or disciplines like martial arts, or I guess boxing's part of that, or music. I was thinking, like, once you as a child, you kind of have this stepping stone of something that's new for you that has potentially a great level of complexity in it, with the different moves and so forth, and the sort of discipline that you need to even learn the basics of the game, which isn't excessive, but you do need a certain discipline to know your pieces. This isn't a video game where everything's already programmed in for you. I think and maybe with your experience in the classes, Shawn, you can speak to this. Once the child, pers- um, uh, pursues that and learns the chess game, and they've learned that skill, that sets them up to learn other skills like martial arts or sports or whatever. Is that the case? Have you found that with your students?
Yes, it sets a precedent. Anyone who, like, that's why I always tell everyone, chess is life. So the benefits of chess applies to one in their life, either if they transfer to a different thing in terms of martial arts, or a different discipline, or whether or not in the workplace. So I would say it's a correlation to that. And a lot of my students, it's truly remarkable. It correlates to an instrument.
Mhm.
So because chess, a lot of it is memory. So a lot of the students I have, they either play the guitar, they play the piano, and chess helps them, or I would say the instrument helps them with the memory for chess.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that correlation, especially with music there, for sure. Now, we might marry the next two parts here, Shawn. So chess teaches the virtue of patience, and then on the next line, chess improves concentration, both of which are are virtues. They're not just skills, they're virtues that we're quickly losing. So I think I'll just add to this and hear your thoughts on the matter, especially once again with learning the initial part, which can be overwhelming, the different pieces and so forth. I think that can teach one to have patience with themselves. Forget about even playing others, just the initial patience with one's own ignorance of the subject and that greater comfort that comes with it after a while. So can you speak to patience and concentration?
Regarding patience in chess, you must be patient, because if you're not, it's just like anything in life. If you're not patient, you might pay for you not being patient. What does that mean? So let's say there's a child and they go into a tournament and you're moving the pieces too fast. The outcome won't be desired because you weren't thinking. So thinking, has to do with patience. The one with the calm hands is the one who's the winner at the end. That's why a lot of times with anything, when you think quickly, when you come to a rash decision without pausing and thinking prior, the end result won't be beneficial to you. So, and obviously when you go to a tournament, there's a clock, but even so, there's a lot of students who move very relatively quickly, and then they're upset. And so chess is a beautiful thing because it teaches the virtue of patience, and the ones who patient strives at the end.
Do you teach your students, once they get the basics down, Shawn, is there a formula, or is there kind of a rule of thumb of how many moves out the player should be thinking? Or does that depend on the player, that they kind of develop that own feeling themselves?
Every single move you must think.
Mm.
You always have to ask the why, the what, and that takes a big patience.
But do you teach your students to anticipate moves, 3 moves in advance or 5 moves in advance, or is that futile because you don't ultimately know what your opponent's going to do?
No, so a lot of the students I teach, obviously there's a plan, but every single move, a plan can change. So I try to go move by move. But the biggest importance, I would say, when I teach my students, is calm like a cucumber. That's my phrase. Basically, patient. You don't want to move fast. You don't want to make a mistake, because obviously one blunder could cause you to win and it could cause you to lose.
Mm.
So I try to implement that in my lessons, move by move.
You speak about patience. You need to teach the drivers in Queens. The last time I was in Queens was about a year and a half ago, and it's LaGuardia that's in Queens, is it?
Yes, the airport.
And
Yeah.
that, I don't know who designed that road. There's a major artery that goes there. But on the way back, it was chock-a-block, and we all, I mean, it was hours on this thing. I think some guy's like tire fell off and backed up the whole thing. But we could have all used the patience of chess in that very hot afternoon.
That's New York for you.
New York. What is that road? It has 3 numbers to it. It's like 4. I don't know, but it's going out to LaGuardia, and it was a hot summer afternoon, and it got stickier still. So yeah, that
Yeah,
is New York for you. It doesn't matter if you go to Manhattan; it's the same stuff.
it's
So
the same thing. Yes.
so once everyone learns chess, they'll chill out and there'll be less honking. But Shawn, how does chess exercise the brain? And we might want to speak about chess. You mentioned as an after school thing or an enrichment. How does chess enrich the brain in a way that classroom learning or more traditional forms of instruction don't? How does it exercise the brain?
And there's also studies around that. Ones that play chess, it helps in the future with brain lengths, and also it helps with not developing Alzheimer's at a later age.
Mm.
Uh, so it exercises the brain to the fact you're constantly thinking. No one wants to lose. So just based on that notion, you have to always think. Sometimes, when you're in school, it's not so much of a requirement, but with chess, it's like an obligation. Everyone must think.
You can
So
skate by in school. You can skate by in your classes. You can't skate by on the board there.
no.
Now, the next up, you have that chess improves sportsmanship or teaches sportsmanship. And I think I would marry this very much with patience and concentration, both as virtues that we might be losing in our fast-paced society, but also something like patience and concentration, sportsmanship, that needs to be learned over a long time. You can't just sit down and have a class on sportsmanship. It's something that you have to verb. And how does chess do that, especially in the competitions in particular, Shawn?
Well, many of the times when children go to competitions, either they go with their parents or with their team, and a lot of the coaches, even from an early age, they always built that show sportsmanship to your opponent, win or lose. When you start the game, shake the hand. When you lose the game, at the end of the game, shake the hand. Words of comfort. So there's a big sportsmanship around chess. From all these years, I've never encountered non-sportsmanship. If obviously two players have a vendetta, even so, there's a sportsmanship there because they have to respect one another. Same thing when it comes to boxing. They might say not nasty things to one another, but at the end of the fight, they must respect one another because they're both athletes. They're both professional fighters. You have to have nothing but respect. And chess is a beautiful thing that displays that from the start and to the finish.
Diverging from this just briefly, have you ever edged into things like Chinese checkers or similar games, similar board games, or has it always been focused on this, laser beam focused on chess? You're just privately, have you ever branched out into these other similar games, Shawn?
No, it never interested. I never had interest of them.
Mhm.
I knew of them, but chess was my big passion.
Excellent. Skipping ahead here, because some of these are similar enough that we get the gist there. So problem solving, chess improves our problem solving, improves our memory function. And I think you had mentioned the Alzheimer's just now. I think there have been many studies on that. Using these parts of the brain that we wouldn't otherwise, we'll lose it. Right? So we don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
And I think with chess you have not just the strategy, and you can speak to this, but also there's the tactile aspect to it that is so often found to be beneficial for elderly people, dementia people, in these extreme cases. But it wouldn't hurt any of us to stay in good form. We're literally just holding a pen and writing does things in our brain that typing or talking doesn't. And I imagine a similar tactile aspect it would be a benefit of chess as well.
Yes.
Now, how does chess improve or develop our creative thinking? Is it just simply the moves there, or is there more to it?
I would say it develops your creative thinking because one can show you how the pieces move, but you with time develop your own style. And
Mm,
there's two types of chess players. You have a positional chess player and you have a tactical player. So you have some chess players with a style that are strictly positional, some that are tactical, some use a mixture of both, but everyone has their own creative thinking. Let's say I have a position and there's 10 people that look at the same position. I might say, I believe that this is the best move. But with creative thinking, no, let's do a tactic. I'm going to sacrifice this piece because I believe that my position is going to be a lot superior in the next coming moves. So I would say chess develops everyone's style of play with time. Obviously, when you're learning, you may not have a style, but with time, every single chess player develops that.
how long do you find, I imagine a coach of a ball game, a ball team would notice a certain time between an initial player and developing a style of, switch hitting or pitching or whatever. Uh, you with music coach would have a similar observation. Shawn, how long with your students do you find between their introduction to chess and their own development of a style? How long goes over?
That's subjective because some could do it. I would say it could be a few months, half a year, or years.
Mm,
It all varies on where they are in chess and a lot of factors. It's kind of like even with a style, it could be in that time frame. The same like learning an instrument. How
mm,
long will it take you to reach or play a song or this? Some could be 1, 2, 3, others not 1, 2, 3.
mhm.
So regarding that, it's really subjective. But I do have a style of teaching that is very simple and layman that even the weakest student will develop those skill sets to improve at a much quicker rate.
And for people who may be interested in signing up with yourself, Shawn, and once again, there's a variety of ways people can get in touch, but probably the easiest is this book now button. How long, as a teacher, how long typically do you stay with a student? Are you just really focused on introductory chess instruction? Do you follow the student all the way to a competition? What's the normal sweet spot for you in terms of that relationship with a chess player? I mean, to what level are you most do you normally take your students?
Uh, so I pretty much it varies. But before we start anything, I always ask my student, "What do you want?" Basically, while learning chess, do you want to do competitive? Is it something like for your own enjoyment? What do you want to do? But my
Mm.
job is to make chess fun and support what they decide to do with their journey. You know, so
And
I
what do you
reached
normally?
to
Oh,
the
yes, sir.
moon.
Go on. Go on. Sorry.
If they want to take their game to the moon, I'll take their game to the moon. Most of the students that I have, they always ask me, Shawn, I just want to be a little bit better. I don't want to lose anymore. If I just lose a little bit less, I'm happy. I don't want to be a Magnus Carlsen, a Kasparov. I just want to lose a lot less. What can you do for me? And then from
So,
there, everyone enjoys.
so you're getting us people who come to you that already know the basics of the game, but they're looking to sharpen their existing skills.
Yes and no, because I have
Mhm.
some that uh, always had a passion for chess, but they never learned about it. There was a very famous TV series. Um, I believe it was called Queen's Gambit.
Mm.
So that brought a lot of attention to chess. So a lot of people who never played chess grew a big interest towards it. So they would call and say, "Hey, I want to learn how the pieces move." Or others would say, "Hey, I already have an idea, but that's all I know, and I want to take my game to the next level. I don't want to just move the pieces. I want to know why." So I would say a mixture of complete beginners to novices that want to take their game a step further. Even people that already know how to play chess relatively well and they just don't have that it or to level up, and they need a little bit of a push.
And how does chess develop our ability to think under pressure?
Because everything in life is time. You don't have a limited time. So
Mm,
anytime you play competitive, or even if you play a game at the park, there's always a clock. So you have to make a move in a certain amount of time. If not, you lose by getting flagged. So it teaches you to think quickly. It's the same thing when you take a test in school. Not a limited time. There's a time to answer all these questions. If not, you know, that's your grade. And in
that's it.
chess,
Done.
not you meet your fate.
The axe man cometh. That's right, with that clock there. And you can see for the audience, I'm certainly noticing this. You can see the crossover between chess and these larger life skills. Shawn had mentioned earlier. Without patience, you will pay. Well, that's a life lesson that you can take beyond the chessboard. And likewise with learning to think under pressure. Life is going to put the screw on you one way or another. So you better learn how to handle that in a controlled environment first. So I think chess is a great introduction, but we can see these larger life lessons there for sure.
Yes.
Now, Shawn, a few odds and ends questions here, and we'll bring the bird down. But do you have, moving beyond your classes and things, just personally, do you have any special chess sets that you've collected? I know people get very creative. I know from my own Civil War interest, in fact, I own one of these, the Civil War chess sets with Jackson and Lee and Grant, and as the bishops and so forth, or different figures, whatever the case may be. Do you have a particularly prized chess set yourself?
A prize chess set, no, but I do have a few beautiful glass chess sets, a couple wooden chess sets with good craftsmanship. I have I have a demo board that's really awesome. What else do I have? I have a vinyl board with weighted
Ooh.
pieces. So I do have a variety of chess sets, but a prize chess set I do not. I love the game so much that all the sets have their own beauty to them.
That's right. I should think that there are chess sets that are like fancy cars that are so nice that you'd not take them out on the road any more than you'd play the chess sets that are so
Like
so.
when you're a collectible, just like in sports memorabilia, oh, I love this, I love that, I like, that's my prized possession. So when it comes to chess, it's in regards to the sets, they all are for me enjoyable.
And do you have any opinions on, and I know this with, my humanities background and history, because I've mentioned this, for instance, the alternative rules to the chess game. I know when I teach the French Revolution, for instance, I know there is actually a so-called chess game using the board and only pawns, and and the pawns are like 10, they're people had fun with the rules. So it's the French Revolution. So the pawns are playing dirty against the nobility there. But do you have any favorite alternative rules and things to the game? I've seen several of these out and about, these different scenarios and whatnot.
I would say alternative rules, no, but there's a few slogans that I use to make chess players
Ah,
have better memory. For
yes.
example, if you have a knight on the edge of the board, I
Hmm.
like to say knight on the rim is dim. So when a
Mm.
chess player or even an average Joe hears that slogan, they're like, but what does that mean? Knight on the rim is dim. I know the knight on the rim means on the edge, but what does that mean dim? So when you go to the movie theater and or let's say you're watching a movie and they say dim the lights, it's going to
Mm.
get dark. So anytime you have the knight on the rim, it's going to get very dark for that night, meaning you would
Oh.
wind up winning that night. So I try to use very catchy phrases or slogans for my students to learn and make it easier for them to um, remember.
Excellent. And then the final question I would have here, Shawn, is how do you see your work with with chess, Dr. Shawn's Chess World. How do you see that developing in the years ahead? Do you see yourself branching out, or maybe getting other instructors, or keeping it small throughout, or developing your own tournaments even? How do you see this particular aspect of your work developing?
Well, I've always been, John, a one-man show, because I believe in quality. So I believe in my abilities. I don't really try to focus on other people, and I
Mm,
just want to take my brand to another level because uh, from early on of teaching, I always had the same response. You're an amazing teacher. Why doesn't more people know about your talents or of you? There's a lot of people, especially in social media or YouTube, they don't even have your type of charisma or talents. And if you just use the right proper channels, you could be something huge. And a lot of what I do is pure honesty. So a lot of these YouTubers or chess instructors, they're not honest. And people
mm,
wonder, what does that mean? They're not honest if they're teaching, but they're not 100% honest with their teaching. Meaning, I've seen, I would say 99% of times, oh, if you
mm,
play this move, you're going to be on the verge of winning. You should win, guaranteed. And that's not being honest to the audience, And I found that not just in chess, and a lot of things, what they put on YouTube or social media. So my style is very Russian school of chess,
mm.
very honest, very direct. I show you how to win. I show you how to, have fun, uh, improve. And I'm not really so much of a public speaker, but when it comes to teaching, I would say I'm one of the leading instructors in the nation. I don't claim to be the best, but in terms of teaching, I could proudly say I have to be a top notch. And a lot of people in the chess world know who I am. So
Mm.
when it comes to children, adults, children with disability, it doesn't matter. I always have a nice sweet spot for everyone's needs.
Excellent.
So
That's what you want when you play a game too. At the end of the day, is to have some fun there, and it helps to have a friendly instructor and a friendly face to do that. And here for the audience is Dr. Shawn's Chess World, one handle here, so to speak. Uh, and you can access this from his site. I'm going to do my due diligence, like
thank
everyone watching, and we're going to subscribe. Okay, you JPay. Okay. So everyone do that. All right, Shawn, well, we know where to find you. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up? Any upcoming gigs you have, or tournaments that we can catch you down in the city if we dare the traffic? What's coming up immediately that we might keep an eye out for?
I would say for the new year 2026, uh not to be lazy and start the uploading content on YouTube. I really want to show the world my talents and my personality, and hopefully grow it to one of the biggest YouTube channels out there. Not just in terms of the teaching of chess, but the what's going on in the politics of chess or in the world of chess. What tournaments are being played? What are people saying about this person, that person? So I really want to focus on that for the new year.
Excellent. Yes, for the new year. Well, we're coming up to the almost the end of November. I don't know. I don't know where this year has gone. It seems to be going
Fast,
faster and faster. It's insane.
faster and faster.
Yes, sir.
See how
All
the
right.
guitar is there?
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, very good. I approve.
So when a student looks, oh, Shawn, I also play an instrument. That means you must be a good chess player, because that's all memory. You have to
Right? Yeah.
remember the chords, and in chess, you have to remember the moves.
Yeah, there is that interesting correlation that we said earlier with math, but also with music as well. Uh, absolutely, absolutely. There is a underlying, I think, reality to a lot of these disciplines for certain. But you're
Yes.
a busy man, Shawn. You're a busy man, so we're definitely going to lasso you for an update down the line for your chess world, and then also perhaps also a palpitation onto the field of college, because that's a very interesting world right now with in terms of just professionally, with enrollment, with public perception, with all sorts of things. So we might get you back on down the line for that as well, sir.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so everyone, head over to Shawn's site, hit that book now, enroll now button, and head over to YouTube, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And then you can boogie woogie over to Apocatastasis with a few minutes left over, because Shawn will keep you plenty busy. To the audience, thank you for your insight. And Shawn, thank you very much.
My pleasure, John. Thank you so much for having me.